Foreman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
NFL Week 15. The season has flown by, guys. Wow. Almost playoff time. We'll look at the big games of the week. Monday nighter, like always. This week, we're going to be looking at the Eagles versus Steelers. Lions versus Bills. Big games here. Vikings versus Bears is the Monday nighter that we will talk about. Like always, we do talk the Monday nighter, no matter what the game is. Some big games this week. Big games. We'll break those down. One fun fact, guys. We're not going to talk about this game, but I thought this was very interesting. Thought I mention it. Carolina Panthers are favored this week, guys, versus the Dallas Cowboys in Carolina. They've been playing well. They've been playing a lot better. Almost beat the Eagles last week. Couple nice wins in there in the past month. First time they have been favored since 2022. Keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. Interesting little fun fact there to open up the podcast. We'll also, of course, look at some teaser and underdog options. They've been hot. We've been very hot, especially in the teaser market. All year long, 67% in the teaser market has been very kind to us. Underdogs, we hit 2 last week. 2 for 2 plus money underdogs. Hopefully you did tail those. Systemsportscapping.com or link.me/systemcapping for client opportunities. Learn how to beat the sportsbook long-term in all sports. We profit each year in each sport we handicap. Sometimes it's a little better years than others. Always guaranteed profit, though, in any sport I handicap in the year. A nice week 15 for clients and podcast listeners as well. We hit both underdog bets like I mentioned. Cash on the teaser. Almost a perfect client card. 5-1 last week. Only miss was like a small unit player prop on Ridley. I had him over 63 receiving yards against his old team. 59. Close call there. So tough beat there. Other prop bet, though, we did hit for a larger unit was Purdy over passing. That actually got there at halftime. No run game there, so that's the reason why. What else do we have? Cashed on Packers on Thursday night, plus 3.5. Didn't get greedy on the money line. Money line was tempting, right? Some say, oh, Lions are due for the loss, the banged up defense that they have. You know, I was right in my analyst hat when I put the analyst hat on, right? I was right that they were going to score in the 30s. That's what I said. I expect Packers to get in the 30s on that banged up Lions defense. They just couldn't limit them, right? They scored 34, the Lions. So I wouldn't have called you, crazy to take money line shot on the Packers. But that plus 3.5 was the right play. That was the better play. And we were able to cash on that. What else we did? We were all over the Chiefs in the money line department, Chiefs in the teaser market and the under in that game. I expected the Chargers to really struggle to put up points. No Ladd in there. Obviously Dobbins is hurt, so they have no run game. Chargers are a little banged up. They can play D, though, and they were able to limit the Chiefs, and that's why I love that under 43 or 42.5, whatever it was there. That cashed for us. Ending the season strong here, guys. Up and down to start the year, but of course, for another profitable year, it's going to be 40-23 run here. Second half of the season, a little more. I would say probably since like week 15? Yeah, probably that 40-23 is probably halfway through the season, I would say. 10-2 run here, short term, guys. Power ranking update. Let's do a power ranking update. I think I missed it 1 week, guys. Sorry about that. I did get back on track. I posted on Twitter and Instagram as well. Each week, I do my power rankings. Lions stay at top at number 1. No surprise there. Chiefs at 2. They're 12-1. I know they were winning games by the skin of their teeth, but that's how they win games. They win games, guys. Let's be honest. Voodoo or not, they're winning games. They're 12-1. Hard to argue that position. Eagles, number 3. They continue to win. Have a couple nice big wins in there now. The Carolina game was scary. It was scary. I don't know if you guys heard that bet. Someone bet risk $3 million to win $440 on the Eagles to beat Carolina. That guy was sweating. If Leggett didn't drop that ball, tough catch, was a diving catch. Leggett didn't drop the ball, 40 seconds left. Carolina wins the game because he was going to go right in for a touchdown. Wild. You got to get lucky sometimes. Obviously not a smart bet ever to lay that. Guy got lucky. So yeah, Eagles third, Vikings fourth. They continue to win, guys. Continue to win, even though they don't have one, big win over a top 5 team or a big win. They do earlier in the year. We'll talk about that shortly. But Vikings going to be there at 4 for me. And then the Bills stay at 5, even though they did lose a close one to the Rams. They got the MVP there. You could, some people could have Steelers at 5, maybe Packers. Ravens looking outside as well. Can't get them in there. They need another win or two to get back in the top 5. Let's hear from my friend Kristen before we get into these breakdowns.
For you sports bettors out there, let's be honest, you probably need a little bit of help beating those books. System Capping is a proven long-term winner against the sports betting market in multiple sports. He's built a worldwide clientele due to his high winning percentage over the years. Be sure to click the link on the bio down here to check out his profile, and you can also find out his resume, client comments, podcasts, and subscription opportunities. I'm going to be following him along too, so let's win some money together this season.
Shop around. Shop around. Shop around. Have access to multiple sports books, guys. I stress that all the time. Get the best number out there. That's how you beat the books a little more in value long term. Let's get right into it. Steelers at Eagles. Eagles minus 5.5. Total 42.5. I first looked at this, I thought, a little high. That was my first instinct, right? Sometimes you always want to go with your first gut and instinct. I always write down in my spreadsheets my first gut and instinct, always, when just looking at the lines. All the knowledge is up here at the end of the day. However, I do all my research after, right? I suggest to do that as well for you, newer handicappers that listen to this video, or, even people that bet all the time. Gut instinct, guys. Right? Always. You look at it, you think it's a little high, but let's look into it. Let's break it down a little bit here, right? We got a fun one. 2 divisional leaders, 11-2 Eagles versus the 10-3 Steelers. I'm going to be honest, I did not have either of these teams with these records. Especially the Steelers, right? Steelers are usually, hovering around 500 right now, struggling to make the playoffs. Where did this come from? A lot of it's due to schedule, right? These two have easy schedules all year. Right, let's be honest. But what's been impressive, right? The Steelers have been very impressive against the spread, same as their record. 10-3 ATS on the year for the Steelers. Eagles 8-5. No head-to-heads to really look at here. Right, it's been years since they played, so we don't need to look back like 3-4 years. No point there. Both teams have had fairly easy schedules, like I mentioned, right? That's why these records are a little inflated here. But hey, you only can be who you put in front of you. They do have a couple of nice wins, right? They both have wins over Baltimore. Now, you could say Baltimore beat themselves. That's how Baltimore loses game. I haven't seen one game that Baltimore lost that they just got totally outbeat. They beat themselves always. That's how it always is. Either Tucker missing field goals, the offense disappearing when it needs to, or the defense not playing like it should be. Now, the defense played good in both those Eagles and Steelers games. It was Tucker missing field goals that pretty much lost them the games. Sometimes it's tough to be a Baltimore fan, guys. We got 2 highly ranked defenses in this one. Eagles allowing 18 a game, which is second in the NFL, and Steelers at 5th at 18.3. Very similar defenses. 2 good defenses going at it. That's why you're seeing that 42 number here. I have the Eagles as a better offense. I don't think there's any surprise there with Barkley leading the way. Some issues I'm hearing, though, with A.J. Brown and Hurts, because Brown's not the guy anymore. It's Barkley. Barkley's taken over that offense. So, it's tough for a superstar wide receiver to not get the ball as much as he wants to. I'm not going to say should, because this Eagles offense is working with Barkley leading the way. Right, Brendan Graham, one of the veterans, captains, whatever you want to say on that team brought this up. And they asked A.J. Brown about it, and he's just trying to shrug it off. So I don't know what to really think about this. They're 11-2, so it's obviously it's not an issue, right? We don't need to change anything in the offense. Could Brown get heavily targeted this week? Possibly. Look out for that. You may want to look at those Brown props over. But yeah, you expect Barkley just get his 20 touches and probably get in the 100 yards again here. Pickens may be out for this game. Look out for that, guys. That's a tough loss for the Steelers. It didn't affect them against the Browns, but it's going to catch up to them. You're the best wide receiver, right? Limited weapons already on the Steelers offense. So look out for that. Pickens, I don't think he's playing. He's doubtful. They already said he's doubtful. Hamstring is tough. Hamstring's tough, guys. They also got a starting safety, Elliott, who's doubtful, and another defensive tackle starter. So, a little more injuries there for the Steelers. Some starters as well, important starters. So look out for the injury report. Pickens, I don't expect to play. Tough game for the Steelers on the road here, in my opinion. That -5.5 does seem like a lot still. If I had, gun to my head, had to play a spread here, I'd take Steelers plus the points, but definitely not confident on it. Definitely not making my client card. I won't have any money on that. I do expect the Eagles to win this game, though. Tough road spot here for the Steelers. Look for Eagles to win this game. Total's tough. No comment on it. It's already low at 42. I would be scared holding that ticket with the under. But both defenses, like I mentioned, guys, allowing 18 a game. Wouldn't be surprised if this gets under. Bills at Lions. Lions -2.5. Total 54.5. One of the highest totals of the year, guys. And this is going to be the game of the week. Game of the week. Two top 5 teams, even with the Bills losing last week, I still have them there just at the 5th spot. Right? They have some big wins recently that prove to me that this Bills team is legit, even with that tough loss last week. Rams can do that to you. They can show up at times. Their offense is really good, and that's the one concern, the Bills' defense, right? But Josh Allen, MVP favorite. I believe he wins the MVP. Unless he just totally shits the bed the next few weeks. And it's going to be hard to shit the bed against this Lions defense, guys, that's banged up. Right? Listen to these stats last week. 342 passing yards, 82 rushing, 3 rushing TDs, 3 passing, 117 passer rating. First player in NFL history with 3 rushing and 3 passing TDs, Josh Allen. Just give him the MVP, guys. In comes the Lions' banged up D. Should have another great performance. Right? The Lions have been good against the run this year. I'll give them that, right? 5th in yards allowed and 1st in rushing attempts. And now you got to look at that as well, because teams are usually behind, so they're throwing a lot. I don't put a ton of weight in that, but they do have a good front line. There's no secret about that. You can throw on this Lions D, though. Right? You can throw on this Lions D. Towards the bottom of the NFL there in those categories. Some of it's due to injuries as well. The Bills D, big concern. The big concern of the Bills D. You expect this Lions D to just be, this Lions offense to go up and down on them, right? You expect it. That's why we're seeing this 54.5 total. The numbers just aren't great for this Bills D overall. If you obviously look at last week's 44 they allowed, but just overall in the year, just not consistent. If they want to make a run to the Super Bowl, it has to be a lot better. Defense wins those games in those big playoff games. They've been especially bad against the run. Expect a heavy rushing attack here with Gibbs and Montgomery. See, Detroit has so many ways to beat you on offense. If you're bad against the run, okay, here comes the best duel in the NFL, Gibbs and Montgomery. Lions should be able to just move the ball up and down on them, right? This total at 54.5, there's a reason for it. 2 high-powered offenses against 1 banged-up defense, who's just, Lions aren't the best defense. Even if the Lions have their full defense, they're still not a great defense. Middle of the pack, I would say, if they have a full, healthy defense. And the Bills have been struggling on defense. I get this 44, 45, a 54.5 total. The way this goes under, though, I can see the Lions maybe trying to slow the game down with the run game. Keep Josh Allen off the field. That's what you want to do. So I'm definitely not betting this over 54.5. It's too high. That scares me, right? But I could see it. Like I mentioned, why, right? The high-powered offenses just going up and down on the field against each other, against these weakened defenses. I expect the Lions to win this game. You get it at -2.5. You could just bet the spread there. Don't expect it to be a 1 or 2 point game. Could be a 3-point game, right? Could be a close game at the end of the day. We can see one of the better games of the year here. But I have to back the Lions at home, right? Bills haven't been great on the road. I think they're undefeated at home, but what, I have 2-3 losses? What do they have? Three losses on the road. So look for the Lions to win this game. Don't be shocked if it gets over the total. I would just suggest to stay away from it. Because like I mentioned, if the Lions use that game plan of heavy run, it's going to slow the game down, right? You're not picking up those big chunk yards. You're slowing the game down. You're keeping Josh Allen off the field. I can't sit here and tell you what the Lions' game plan is, right? No one can. But I can tell you what it could be and what it probably should be. Run the ball. Bills are terrible against the run. Keep Josh Allen off the field. Try to kill the clock. That would be a great game plan. Let's see what happens. I'm excited for that game. It kind of sucks because the Eagles and this game, they're on at the same time. So I got multiple screens. It's not an issue, but you don't really get to watch the game fully, right? But hey. Monday nighter, Bears at Vikings. Vikings -7, total 43.5. There's actually 2 Monday night games. They're back to that, guys. The other Monday night game no one cares about. Falcons versus Raiders, right? It's a terrible game. We obviously will talk about this one here quickly. You know, the Bears have lost 7 straight, guys. Not too much to talk about them. It's getting ugly over there. Caleb Williams went to the team this week, apparently, from what I heard from a report. How do you deal with losing? He asked, because the Bears are used to losing. So he asked them, because obviously in college he was winning a lot, right? Probably in high school as well. But when you get to the NFL, you struggle. You don't have a great team in front of you. He had to ask that. That's not good. That's not good, right? That's how bad it is over there in Chicago. Very difficult for me to see them go on the road and win against Minnesota unless it's a letdown spot here. Minnesota doesn't show up for some reason. Just 2 different teams with 2 different goals with 2 different records, guys. Right? Minnesota 6 wins in a row for the Vikings. They just keep winning games. I still believe it's one of the most fraud 11-2 teams ever. I don't think you can disagree with that. They don't have one good win over a top 10 team since September 29th. And it was the Packers in a 3-point win. Good win. Earlier in the year, though. Right? They're just very well coached. Very good defensive numbers. Sam Darnold's fitting to the system perfect. You still got one of the best wide receivers, 1A, right? Him and Chase, Jefferson and Chase. You got one of the best wide receivers. Addison's a nice complimentary. You got Hawkinson back. You got a good run game. It's a solid team, guys. Is it a Super Bowl team? No. But the team is solid. Right? They're getting to the QB, even without Hunter, who they lost. And Hunter, I think he led the league in sacks last year. They lost him. They're still getting to the QB, and it's due to them pressuring from all aspects of the defense. Safety, corner. Florida's excellent defensive coach, guys. Should be a head coach one day in this league. 4th in sacks, guys. 6th in points allowed on defense. All these numbers just play a big factor here. And it's going to play a big factor against Chicago. 32nd in sacks allowed, guys. They can't keep Williams upright. Obviously, Williams has been struggling, but you got to have a good O-line if you're a rookie QB. They don't have that this year, allowing almost 5 a game, guys. 32nd in total yards per game. 23rd in rushing, 30th in passing. It's ugly. It's ugly. I just wouldn't overthink this one. I would expect Vikings to win this game. Wouldn't be surprised if they cover. Probably a better teaser option this week, just to win the game outright. Is it a possible upset spot? There is a possibility. It's just we haven't seen how Chicago's been playing recently. It's tough to see it happening. We've seen some crazy upsets more at the start of the year. Everyone got caught by them. Not as much as late, but it is possible. Am I going to have a big play on the Vikings this week or something? No. Could they make my teaser card? They could. We'll talk about that next. Teaser options. Teaser options. It's been a great year in the teaser market. Like I said, it's never my focus, but when I'm running high, I haven't lost a teaser for almost 2 months, I believe. Month and a half, 2 months. 67% teaser market this year. Remember, plus 120, 3-team teaser, 7 points for clients. I give my 2 favorite each week. Most of the time, they make my client teaser. Not all the time, but I got to go Lions plus 4.5. We just talked about them, and we just talked about the Vikings at home just to win. Probably my 2 favorite. We'll have 1 more for clients. Underdogs. Let's end the segment with the underdogs like we always do. We hit both last week, guys. Hopefully you did tail Jags, plus money. I think it was a good play. It was like plus 140 maybe. And then Seahawks, lower, plus 110, plus 105. They just own Arizona. They own Arizona, guys. That had to be a look there in case they did show up. And Seattle's been playing some good football as of late, guys. Weird team. They started well, had a really bad middle of the season, and now I think they won 4 or 5 straight. Watch out for Seattle, guys. Probably win that division. Options this week, we got the Cowboys, we got the Dolphins, Bucks, Seattle, Raiders. I picked 5 that I think could win the games. Probably one of my least favorite underdog weeks, guys, that I can remember from this year. None will make client cards. But let's try to at least hit one. If you guys have been tailing all year, you're going to obviously be profitable in the underdog markets. But let's try to at least hit one here. Again, not confident this week. But Cowboys, okay, let's ruin these Carolinas. First-time favorites since 2022. Cowboys win on the road. And Bucks and a banged-up Chargers team who's been struggling on offense. Never know. Bucks could win that game. Again, not in love with these underdogs this week. That will do it, guys. That will do it. Check out the last UFC podcast of 2024 if you haven't already. It's already up. Go listen to that. And we got some good sneaky game. We got Seattle, Green Bay as well. I was going to talk about that, but we had 2 other big games. So some good games this week. Interesting. Should have a fairly decent size client card as well. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Enjoy this week.